YouTube. So we're on to part 2 of my review of my Aldi Workzone Table Saw. Typical use for this would be cutting down boards like decking boards. For example, if you're decking towards the house and then you've got a space that needs to be filled, around a step or something like that, and a whole board won't go in there. You're gonna have to rip a board down of a decking board, and I'm going to start by trying to rip this down lengthways. It's only a small part, a small section of decking board that's been lying in my scrap wood for about 3 years. So let's put the saw through its paces just to see what kind of cut we get. And then, with the blade fully extended outwards, I can see it has a maximum cut depth of 50 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is rip this board at 50 millimeters wide, and then I'm going to try and rip it this way. Obviously, to do that, I'm going to first put my knife back on because that's a essential safety feature. I normally take the knife off. There's a couple of reasons why I would take it off. Firstly, to make cross cuts. If you're making lots of cross cuts for making a lap joint or something, you'll have to take the guard off. And secondly, for putting a groove in a piece of wood. And then let's start slicing up some wood. So I've reattached the knife and I've set the height of the blade to be just a tad higher than the width of this blade, than the thickness of this blade. I've set my fence at 50 centimeters, at 50 millimeters, 5 centimeters, and I don't have my push stick, so I'm going to be using this. It's a 4x2 attached to a 1x1 or 1.5 by 1.5, and I'm just going to be using this for a push stick because I lost the one that came with the saw. There's the cut edge. Obviously in some places there's the circular saw mark, but overall it's quite a good clean cut, and it would be perfect for cutting bits of board to go into gaps. Okay, so next what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting the board this way. I'm going to be cutting it to a depth of about 15 mil. So I've raised the blade up to its maximum height and I've set the fence to 15 mil. with the height of the cut set to its maximum, the quality of the cut also decreases. We're left with a very roughly sawn edge, or roughly sawn face, which we'll have to sand down. So the next thing I wanted to do was put a groove in the bottom of this all the way along. And to put the groove in, and I want to make the groove big enough to put a piece of hardboard in. And so because of the width of the hardboard, I'm going to need 2 passes 1mm apart. So I'm going to take the fence off and then get ready for that cut. So as you can see, I've removed the knife and I've taken the blade right down. I'm not sure how high it is. My battery's run out. My caliper's run out of battery, so I can't even check how high it is, but it's about 3 or 4 mil. I'm going to do 2 passes, one pass at 10 mil and then one pass at 11 mil, and that will make a gap big enough in this to accept this piece of scrap cardboard, which my children have been drawing all over. I unplugged it too. And the groove. And it accepts the hardboard. So then, just to finish this project off, I'm going to be using a miter saw and a electric sander. So just to conclude this video, I just want to say that this table saw is the right table saw for you if you were looking to rip some boards. So if you had a job like cladding a shed and you needed to rip a last piece of cladding, or you're putting some decking down and you need to rip a piece of decking, it'd be perfect for that. Laminate floors is also useful for, so often you have to if you start on a whole piece on one edge, on the other edge sometimes you need to rip boards down, and it would be perfect for laminate flooring. And then normal house floorboards, if you you have to rip some of those down. So generally, any job requiring ripping boards, it'll be good for that. But also it's good at ripping 4x2, 6x2s. Um, Obviously the 2-inch way, not the 6-inch or 4-inch way, because the blade won't go deep enough. Um, and other things like if you were making a bench and you just wanted to make some bench slats, and you wanted to rip a board down to make bench slats, it would be perfect for that as well. I've only ever really used it on pine, apart from on one occasion. I have used it with oak um, skirting boards, and it dealt with that fine. Um, the boards I used yesterday, I think part of the reason why the cut was so rough is because they're so old. So they've just been sitting and drying out in my shed for more than 3 years now. So if it was a greener board, I think the cut would be cleaner. Also, to improve how clean the cut is, I could move to a better blade. Like I say, that blade is cut. It's done hundreds of cuts, and I'm sure It's past its best. So thank you for watching my video, and I think in a future video I'll be looking at setting it up to do cross cuts for doing lap joints, and that'll be another video, and I'll be doing another video on taking the knife on and off, because I think if it's one of the things that you do quite often is to remove and reinstall the knife. I'll kind of do it a few times a day. Thank you very much.